Tarth, home of one of our favorites, Brienne of Tarth. You guessed it. And when we meet Brienne, it's actually in the Reach. Now, in the book, it is very clearly Bitterbridge. I'm not sure if they really specify it in the show, but if you remember, Renly has fled King's Landing with Sir Loras. They flee back to the Reach because Loras is a Tyrell from Highgarden. And all of the Reach is basically going to support Renly in his claim to be king. And they're having a little mini tournament where Brienne enters and ends up defeating Sir Loras. That all happens at Bitterbridge. Again, I'm not sure. It's definitely in the Reach somewhere, but I always thought it was closer to Storm's End. It felt closer to Storm's End in the show, but if it sticks with that, if it sticks with the books, definitely in Bitterbridge. And then we get the Shadow Baby, and Renly dies, and Brienne flees with Catelyn, and they end up going back to Riverrun. Catelyn frees Jaime, charges Brienne to return him to King's Landing. They bounce around the Riverlands. Jaime gets his hand cut off. They end up at Harrenhal, and eventually they get back to King's Landing. But Brienne is obsessed with Renly and in love with Renly because she is from the Stormlands, because that's where Tarth is. Tarth is here, one of the largest islands in Westeros, and in close proximity to Storm's End. So when Brienne was being raised, she would, because she's the daughter of, sometimes is called, specifically called the Maid of Tarth a lot more in the books, because they basically tried to make her like, a normal woman and not like a warrior for most of her childhood. And Renly was one of the only people that was kind to her and danced with her. So she became obsessed with him. Tarth here, this area here is called the Straits of Tarth, and you see, and there's some ships that sail through that during the story, particularly when Stannis is sailing down to attack Storm's End. Evenfall Hall is the name of her specific castle, and the Lord of Evenfall Hall is known as the Even Star. And Tarth is called the Sapphire Isle, and as Jaime explains, not because it has sapphires, but because the blue water looks so beautiful. There's Tarth, home of Brienne of Tarth.